What's up, beer lovers? I'm back. I enjoyed my holiday vacation, and let me wish you a happy new year. It's now 2013, and I wanted to make a video in case you missed some of my reviews. Give you my best of and worst of beers of 2012, now that we're into 2013. Um, and I also wanted to just vlog a little bit and say that, I started this channel in May. It's been, so we've been doing it for 8 months now. And it's been a great time. I've enjoyed it. But there's some things about it I haven't enjoyed. And basically, I started reviewing beers rather than sitting down to enjoy beers. So what I've learned is either buy two or, sometimes maybe something doesn't necessarily need it reviewed. And the Christmas break really drove that home for me because I actually just sat down and actually enjoyed a few beers rather than worrying about sharing them with you. No offense. I love sharing them with you, but sometimes I want to keep them to myself. Anyway, so as this channel progresses, I think I'm going to tone it down a little bit. There's going to be less videos. Hopefully I can shoot the quality up a little bit more, especially on the budget beers. Try to add some of the humor. Those seem to do better than the ones where I just review the budget beers, and we're running out too. So I'm thinking probably every other week on a budget beer, and probably just maybe one beer a week for reviews. I don't even know. I'm probably not going to hold myself to any kind of schedule because I'm missing out on a lot of what I enjoy about beer, and that's just to sit down and enjoy one. So anyway, though, back to where I was heading before I got sidetracked. Best and worst of 2012. And I'm going to kind of put this into a couple of different categories because of the budget beer thing and everything else. So just stand by. We'll start with the craft beers. There are a few beers out there, and some of them are hard for me to get. And I'm going to assume they're going to be hard for you too, unless you live right next to the brewery. And these are beers, if you see one on a shelf and you got to spend the last dollar in your pocket to get it, it's worth that last dollar in your pocket, even if you have to walk home because you don't have gas money. They're that good. And those two, I'm going to put two in that category, are Zombie Dust, which is currently number 13 on Beer Advocate's Top 100. It's got a 100 or a 99 rating. It's outstanding. Definitely one of my favorite beers I've ever had. And the other one is Ithaca Flower Power, which doesn't score nearly as well on Beer Advocate, but I find that beer to probably be my favorite IPA. Zombie Dust isn't technically an IPA; it's a pale ale, so we can love them both equally well. Those are two I wouldn't miss them. And if you're into darker beers, it's a seasonal, and I wouldn't miss up on it either. And that's Founder's Breakfast Stout. Absolutely wonderful beer, very complex. And the thing is, it is a seasonal, so you're only going to be able to get it for a short window. It's January, early January right now. I believe it's available till around the end of February, so it might be time to start stocking up on it if you really like that beer. There shouldn't be any problem aging it until the next year when it comes back out. There's not any real hop flavors or aroma that you're going to lose from aging that beer. So if you love Founder's Breakfast Stout, or you haven't had it and you think you'd like it, if you see it in a store, buy it up. Maybe not take, if you go in there and there's 8 4-packs left, maybe leave one for somebody else or a couple for somebody else. But certainly if you want to hoard up on it, now's the time to start doing that. Now there's two other beers that I'm not having any trouble getting, and I don't expect to in the near future, that are just as good. If they're hard to get in your area, again, I wouldn't pass these up, but at least me in my area, I seem to have no problem getting any of this. And they're actually my two brand new go-to beers. And that's Dale's Pale Ale from Oscar Blues and Headhunter from Fatheads. Boy, I could just drink those all day, all night, either one of them. Both of them are sessionable, probably more so on the Dales because Fatheads is upwards of 7%, but I just can't seem to get enough of either one of those two beers. They're absolutely wonderful, but like I said, I don't have any problem getting them. They're not seasonals. I don't expect to, so thankfully they are well stocked in my locale. Now, some beers you want to avoid at all costs, at least in my opinion. or Guard Dog from Flying Dog. And now, if you liked wheat beers, maybe that one's a little better to you than it was to me. But I found the things I don't like about wheats in that beer were just so pronounced that it was almost undrinkable to me. Another one is Bechamel Scaldus, and it's from Belgium, and I just found it to be absolutely awful. I couldn't say anything good about the beer. There's a couple other ones too, but most of them were sours, and I just don't have a palate for sours, and I really didn't even post those reviews because I just don't quite necessarily feel right about getting online and just saying I hate a beer when it probably is actually a very good beer for its style, and it's just I didn't like it because I don't like that style of beer. So, I have them. I may throw them up one day, but for now, just know I really, really don't like sours. So that they're not for me, and we'll leave it at that. Now, we'll get into the budget beers because there were some surprisingly good budget beers. And actually, they all came from one place looking back. I liked everything that I tasted that came out of that brewery, and that's from Genesee, be it under the name Dundee, with the exception of their Oktoberfest. I wasn't too wild about that. But the Honey Brown, the regular Jenny, the Jenny Cream Ale, you know what? If you're looking for a budget beer and you don't know what to get, I don't think you're going to go wrong with any Genesee product. They were outstanding as a whole compared to the rest. Now, some to avoid, and I don't think this is my palate or, it's just not for me kind of thing, is I would absolutely avoid ever buying Red Stripe Lager, Foster's, or Icy Light. They were just flat out some of the nastiest tasting beers I've ever personally come across. Even for American beers, they were horrible. Just not good. So anyway, that's about all I got. Like I said, I'm going to cut down the reviews a little bit this year. Sit back and actually enjoy some myself, but I plan on keeping the channel open. I debated, closing it down for a while there. But I think I enjoy doing this enough to keep it going, and I hope you enjoy watching these. Tell your friends about them. Let me know I'm doing right. Watch the videos, like them, tell your friends. And, as to what I'm drinking. This is a cream ale that I made. It's half lager, half ale. It's been lagered. Came out quite nice. I usually make a beer like this for Christmas, but unfortunately I got behind with just being too busy with life, and I didn't get this out ready to go until New Year's. So to my family that looks forward to my Christmas Kolsch, sorry, this year it was a cream ale. It's very good. Just couldn't get it out to you in time, and I apologize. But everybody else, cheers. Have a good night.